I can jump in. I kind of see this through two axes. I think the first is that I think everyone's known for years that there's an extraordinary diversity of learning levels and social emotional needs during classrooms. But we sort of continued to use a one size fits all approach that isn't responsive to kids' needs, but instead is sort of like we construct a construct and then expect students to respond to our needs as educators. And that's not a particularly effective way to move kids on a continuum of learning. So I think in many ways, the past few years has kind of exposed that reality that, frankly, I think we've all known, and put some pressure on the system to think differently about instruction. So I think there's the student piece. I'd also just say, I know as a teacher, I always found that teaching was like fundamentally an unconquerable task, right? The idea that you just like walk into a room with all these diverse, awesome minds and somehow you're supposed to like meet all their needs at once was in some ways the coolest thing on the planet, but also impossible to do perfectly. I think one thing I didn't know when I first started teaching, but now feel very confident about, is the most precious resource we have is teacher time. And if we're not thoughtful about designing the learning environment so that teachers are maximizing their time and also maximizing small group and one-on-one instruction, then we're not doing our job as an education system. So I think asking those hard questions now is critical, and it's the right time to start thinking about that. And obviously technology can play a really powerful role when used effectively.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And for me, when listening to you talk, Kareem, I'm thinking about like the things in education we know aren't going to change. And there's not a lot in education we can say isn't likely going to change. But for me, thinking about this path forward, we need to be acknowledging that learner variability is the norm. Like it's not the exception. So as soon as we start to acknowledge and recognize and honor that within the design and facilitation of these learning experiences, it makes a lot of sense to start questioning, why are so many teachers still exclusively using this whole group teacher-led, teacher-paced model? And I know why, right? Ease of planning, there's control features involved in that. But so that variability is something we need to start really honoring in our design work. And then also technology is not going anywhere. I know there's a lot of teachers and a lot of families, quite frankly, after the pandemic who just want to throw computers to the side. And I get it. I'm an advocate for blended learning, and there's a balance between online and offline in that equation. But technology's permeated all these other aspects of our society. And now we even have lots of organizations and workers really grappling with, do I need to be in an office, in a physical space at a certain time to do my job? Or if we think about students to actually learn something. So I think the opportunity around technology is it's not going anywhere, but we get to decide what form, what shape it takes in classrooms. Like, does it free teachers to do what Kareem's saying, which is spend more time tucked alongside individual small groups of learners, supporting their unique kind of path toward whatever these firm goals are?